Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyashtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shrunvannoti Dasadanam. Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namah. Om Vrishabham Charshaninam Vishwarupamadabhyam Brihaspatim Varenyam. Om Tadvishno Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Sorayah Divi Vachakshuratatam. Om Shlim Hrim Jyotir Brahmaya Namah. Can everyone say Hare Ramakrishna 3 times? Om Hare Ramakrishna Hare Ramakrishna Hare Ramakrishna. Okay. Huh? Yeah, there's something with the monitor. I saw in the past that it is making things more yellowish. So some pin probably is lost or something. We saw this earlier also. What is this? Ah, I see. Okay. So we will see an example chart. We see the chart of Mr. Seshan Subramanian, who is here, who came back to the class to see his chart. The data is 1949, June 13, 10:52 4 a.m. The place is Palayam Kottai.
No, actually, internally, it is Massachusetts.
Yeah, the data is entered in a weird way, but bottom line is, it is 77 degrees 44 minutes east, 8 degrees 43 minutes north.
Mr. Rao, does it matter? In my horoscope it says 10:55 a.m. Does it matter?
Yeah, it matters.
The correction,
It matters. But the thing is, this is what we probably earlier rectified, so we'll just stick to this. Yeah. Hmm? How are your knees? You said you had some knee problems and you weren't able to sit down earlier.
I'm managing it. It's kind of manageable. But I have a pain in here, like hernia pain here. Both my brother and father had surgery. I'm wondering whether I have to go for surgery. Any major health problem, that would be my question. I do have the pain. I'm just living with the pain. That's it's manageable. Can you just check the auto?
What happened?
Is this making this much sound?
I don't know, Andy. Actually, ఇది ఆన్ చేస్తుందా? ఇట్ ఈస్ టర్న్ ఆఫ్ అయ్యింది. ఒకసారి నొక్కితే గ్రీన్ వస్తుంది. ఓ నో, ఇది ఎందనే ఉంది, ఇది ఎలా ఉంది. ఓకే,
ఎందుకంటే
now green light వచ్చింది. Usually when it's working it should be green light here, not yellow, not orange. Oh, it's in S video mode. Let's change to RGB. We have it back. that color give up, Seshu. There is some problem with the color. We had it for a while now. See, the thing is, because you are not coming to every class, you don't know. Just like Mr. Seshan Subramanian is living with that pain for a while, we are living with this color for many weeks.
Why don't we do one thing?
Yeah.
No, I'm not interrupting the class, but
Yeah.
From the money we have in this group, why don't we...
This is usable. See, yellow is Jupiter's color. There is a it's a waste of money. The thing is, it's usable.
The bulb, then we will buy it. The bulb is still working, so bulb is...
Exactly. I mean, this has been in use for a long time.
Please clean filter. Will that fix it?
No.
I think there's some...
We had that message for many years, even when everything was perfect. We probably need to clean the filter anyway, but that is not the reason for this light. It is probably the bulb being fading away. After a while, probably we can't see, then we'll have to buy a bulb or something. But for now, you can see it, right? Instead of tube light, it looks like the yellowish light. That's the only difference.
Jupiter light shining on us.
Yeah, Jupiter's light shining on us. Okay. Okay, now we'll...
My health. I have been having swelling here for about a month.
One second, let's take one thing at a time.
Yeah.
I know that you have a lot of things, but we'll go one thing at a time. So the first thing you asked was your career, right?
Yes.
So you've been out of job for...
Since February 23, I had a contract for 4 more weeks in May,
Okay.
April, May.
So you had instability for a while and finally out of job since February.
February, yes.
Okay. So this person has been
February 23rd.
out of job since February 23. Let me just enter the data. Out of job since Feb 23, 2009. He is entered on, what is the date today? October 26. Okay. So, out of job for several months and looking for a job, but wondering whether he should look for a job or do some business, or is there any hope at all? So that is the primary question. So let us see. So Dasyamsa is on the border. 1 second later, the Lagna will change from Virgo to Libra. But obviously, we have picked Virgo to explain his career, to get Mercury being the 10th Lord in the 10th house. So we rectified it earlier. Probably the time given was a little later, because it's so close to the border later. So I'm guessing that the time was later and we changed it. Yeah, you said 10:55 or...
Yes, 10:50. That's what they...
Yeah, he said 10:55, but we changed it to 10:54, 10:52:4, so that the Lagna in Dasyamsa from Libra changes to Virgo. So we moved it backwards. And now it's just at the end of Virgo. So the 10th Lord is Mercury, explaining the software theory, etc. So we'll basically not rectify it again. We did a rectification earlier, a detailed rectification. We'll just stick to the chart that we found earlier and then give a prognostication. That's basically what we'll do. So what is the Dasha that is applicable here? Is Saturn in the first house? Lagna is at 5 degrees 59 minutes in Leo, and Saturn is at 7 degrees 45 minutes. So he is in the first house. Saturn is in the first house and he is the 7th Lord. So 7th Lord being in the first house, Jisapta Samadasha will apply. So that is one Dasha we can use. The other Dasha of course is Vimshotri Dasha. So those are the 2 Dashas applicable. Are there any other Dashas that are applicable? Anything else? Nothing, right? 10th Lord is not in the 10th house. Pardon me? I can show you, but at 5 degrees in Leo, it won't be Vargottama. Right? It will be in the beginning. Because it starts, the first Navamsa in Leo is Aries. So Aries, Taurus. So it is 6 degrees means second Navamsa. So it will be Taurus. So it's not Vargottama. Okay. So, Drisapta Samadasha. Let us open Drisapta Samadasha. And Vimshotri Dasha, of course, we can see. Let's first see the Vimshotri Dasha. So, since 2005, Saturn's Vimshotri Dasha has been operating. Right? Is Saturn Vimshoti Dasa a good Dasa for him or a bad Dasa? Is Saturn a good Vimshoti Dasa or a bad Vimshoti Dasa? Yeah. Saturn is the 5th and 6th lord exalted in the 2nd house. Okay. Combining with the 9th lord and also the 12th lord. Okay. Yes. Except that Sun is the problem there. Venus Saturn combination is fine. Now let us go to the Drisapta Samadasa. But in Rasi, he is in Lagna. Saturn is in Manakarka Sthana in Lagna. He is the 6th lord of diseases, illnesses, accidents, etc. So his being in Lagna is not really desirable. So it can be physically bad, health-wise it can be not so great, but career-wise it should be okay, right? That is what we would expect. Now let us go to the Drisapta Samadasa, the Dasa that is applicable in this case, the Dasa that will throw more light, finer light. So based on this Dasa, yes,
Venus becomes a Marka, right?
yeah, he is Marka, but he is the 2nd lord in the 2nd house. He also should give enough resources. And more than the Marka for Lagna, Marka for the 6th house is more important. 6th house is service. So Marka from the 6th house shows death of the career, death of the job, change of job or losing job. So anyway, let us now go to the Drisapta Samadasa, started from moon. So what is the Dasa running right now? Rahu Dasa was from 93 to 2002. Rahu is perfectly fine because he is the 6th lord in the 12th house. 6th lord, a Dusthana lord in another Dusthana, he goes Viprita Rajoga. So he is fine. There is no problem with Rahu. And what is the Dasa right now? Sun Dasa. Is that a good Dasa? We'll come to that. But career wise, is it good or bad? Right. So 12th lord, good thing is he is debilitated. He is not extremely strong. Right? That is the good point. But like I said earlier, Venus Saturn yoga there is very good. 5th and 9th lord together. One in Mula Trikona, one in exaltation sign. But he is spoiling the party. He is the 12th lord. 12th lord is spoiling the party there. Had he not been there, it is good. For me?
Depleting the resources.
He is depleting the resources, exactly. He is the lord of the house of losses. So he is placed in the house of resources. So he depletes the resources and also he is an enemy of both Venus and Saturn. So it's not like good Kona lords are together giving a nice Rajoga and a bad guy comes and spoils. Not only is he bad in the chart, he is an enemy of those two. Generically, apart from the ownerships here. Ownership wise also 12th lord is not really favorable. 5th and 9th are one agenda, 12th lord is another agenda. His agenda is different and his style is different. He is an enemy of Venus and Saturn. So Sun is a big problem there. So Sun Dasha is not really conducive. Moon Dasha is fine, but there is still a couple more years, 1.5 more years for Moon Dasha. So Moon
is affected only this year, right? His Sun Dasa is 211.
Yeah.
So it's job.
Another year and a half. Oh, I see. You are saying how come the bad result started just now? Well, only now. The thing is, because Sun is the 12th lord, lord of making compromises, losses, etc., there may have been, not necessarily from 2002 itself, because it may have required another Antardasha, but my guess is probably even before this year, there may have been some problems in the career.
2006 I have been having problems.
So he says that since 2006,
Yeah.
he has been having problems.
I have changed 6 jobs in the last 3 years. It will 1 job, then unemployed, like that.
Out of all these planets, which planet would be most probable? See, if you look at the Antardashas, Jupiter Antardasha stands out as a bad Antardasha. You know why? Yeah, he is in Manakarka Sthana. He is the 7th lord. If somebody is in own business, he is fine. But if somebody is working, he shows end of job because he is the 7th lord. The lord, Maraka lord from the 6th house of service. So, and moreover from Lagna also he is in the Manakarka Sthana. So Jupiter is a problematic planet. And In the Sun Dasha, Jupiter Antardasha, for example, can be a trigger of bad phase. So end of 2006, 2007 and beginning of 2008, that is the period. That Antardasha can trigger bad events. And Venus and Saturn Antardashas, even though Venus and Saturn are well placed, they are the ones troubled by Sun. So when their Antardashas come in the Sun Mahadasha, Sun can say, you know what, this is what you wanted to give, I told you not to do, now I am the boss, listen to me. So basically, when Venus Antardasha and Saturn Antardasha come in the Sun Mahadasha, the result of this Rajayoga Bhanga, there is a Rajayoga Bhanga caused by Sun. There is a Rajayoga given by Venus and Saturn, but being a Dusthana Lord with them, he gives Rajayoga Bhanga, Sun. So that can be triggered in the, whatever was triggered in the Jupiter Antardasha can continue in the Venus and Saturn Antardashas. So honestly, in the Saturn Antardasha, I don't have any hope. How is Rahu Antardasha though?
And also, this
Yes.
Rasi, Jupiter also happens to be the 8th lord in the 6th house.
Right.
So that could also be problematic.
That is problematic physically for the,
Not for career.
not necessarily for career, except that 6th house is the house of service, and in that house you have the 8th lord. So it can show some problem for the career also. It is possible. Moreover, apart from it, if you see the aspects, etc., Jupiter is aspecting the 10th house and A10, right? Jupiter has 5th aspect on 10th house and 7th aspect on A10. So having an influence on both 10th house and A10, he can control the career. And he is not a, he is the 8th lord. He is the 5th lord also, but he is also the 8th lord. So being the 8th lord who affects the A10 and 10th house, he can show some ups and downs in the career. It is a possibility. And moreover, to confirm it, you have to really look at the Dashamsa. You can't say things from Rasi alone. In the Dashamsa, he is in Manakarka Sthana. He is the Bhadakesha. He is in Manakarka Sthana. He is basically the second lord from the 6th house. So, he can give problems. So, anyway, now let us see Saturn, very unlikely. Sun Saturn is not a favorable Dasha, favorable Antardasha. But how is Sun Rahu? Is that a favorable Antardasha? Can we expect some relief in that Antardasha? Rahu by himself gives Viprit Rajoga, like I said earlier. Previous Rahu Dasha was actually good. Rahu is 6th lord in the 12th house. But when it comes to the Mahadasha of Sun, of course he is in the 11th from Sun and all that, but basically he accentuates the 12th house results. He is also in the 12th house. Sun is the 12th lord, he is in the 12th house. So both are accentuating the 12th house results. So whatever 12th house results Sun wanted to give, Rahu will only exacerbate them. So more losses, more compromises. He doesn't really show great writings. And in general, they are also enemies. Sun and Rahu are not really great friends. So it is difficult for Rahu to push his agenda. Even if he, as the 6th lord, wants to give service, it will be difficult for him to push his agenda. So he will have to find common ground with Sun, because Sun is like a king. So Rahu cannot really fight with Sun, especially when it is Sun Mahadasha. When Rahu Antardasha comes, he has to somehow find some common ground with Sun and work towards that, and then be happy. And that common ground can be 12th house, right? So it is not very likely that there will be some great opportunity in the Rahu Antardasha.
May. Okay. Till May of next year? No.
2011, another 1.5 years. But if there is any hope, actually you wanted to say something.
Ravi being in, Sun being in nature, would it really affect anything? Would it really say Sun's domination would be a little bit less than what
Yes.
it's supposed to be?
Yes.
So can
Sun being debilitated is a blessing. Had he been, for example, exalted or something, it would have been much worse. It would have been actually Rajayoga Bhanga. See, when you have a Rajayoga and when also Dusthana lords conjoin the Rajayoga, it is not at all good for that Rajayoga. So if those planets are actually strong, it can actually work as a Rajayoga Bhanga. It can actually the 5th lord and let's say the 12th lord being together, or the 9th lord and 12th lord being together, is a Duryoga. A Kendra or Kona lord being with the 8th lord or 12th lord, it is a Duryoga. So there is a Duryoga being given by Sun. The blessing is he is weak, so it's not as strong. The results that he experiences are not really that bad. He may say it's bad, but it could have been much worse if Sun was strong. This is much better.
I'm surviving anyway.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I don't honestly see much hope, but the only good thing is in the Rahu Antardasha, because Rahu is giving the Viparita Raj Yoga, and from Sun, he is the 5th Lord in the 11th house, right? He is the 5th Lord in the 11th house. It's not that bad. There can be some relief. One second, let's see the longitudes in the Dashamsha. So if you see the longitude, Sun is at 17 degrees in Libra, Rahu is at 26 degrees in Leo. So he is actually in the 11th house. It's not like he is moving to the previous house. That's what I wanted to check. So from Sun, Rahu is the 5th Lord in the 11th house. 5th Lord in the 11th, is it a good combination or bad? It is a good combination. So there is a good placement of Rahu. Rahu is willing to give good results in the Sun Mahadasha. The only thing is how much Sun will cooperate with his agenda, because it's not consistent with Sun's own agenda. Sun is not like, oh, I want to give him good recognition. Sun is not like, okay, let's do it. Sounds great. Sun's agenda is not that. Sun's agenda is to give a fall, give some disappointments, give some compromises, give some losses. So there isn't a lot of hope, but there is some hope in the Rahu Antardasha. And what prayers to do we'll tell later. But let us see how is the next Dasha. Is it a long-term thing or just a couple of years? The next Dasha is that of Moon. What do you think of Moon Dasha? Why is it very good? Moon, even though you may think he is in Lagna, he is actually in the 12th house. He is at 12 degrees in Virgo, Lagna is at 29 degrees in Virgo. So Moon is actually in the 12th house from Lagna, in the Dashamsha chart. And he is the 11th Lord. So basically he will give the results of 11th Lord placed in the 12th house.
In such a case, Rahu would be in the 10th house, right, sir?
Pardon me?
Rahu
From Lagna, right?
from Lagna.
From Lagna. From Lagna he would be, but not from Sun. Earlier we were seeing from the Lord Sun. So, Moon is the... What is your take? 11th Lord in the 12th house, is it good or bad? What kind of results will it give?
11th Lord is basically a bad thing.
He is a functional male phase,
He being
right?
in 12th house
Is good, okay. And materially, what is his agenda? Is his agenda to give losses or to give gains? What is the agenda of Moon? To give gains. Where he is immaterial, is secondary. Agenda is based on what he wants. He wants 11th, gains. He wants to give gains and fulfillment of desires. That is what Moon desires to give. And now he is placed in the 12th house. So he has to use whatever is at his disposal in the 12th house to give gains. But he will use 12 to give gains. So it shows investment, for example. 12th house is spending money, losing. It's not just necessarily losing, giving away. So it shows some kind of investment. But he is the 11th Lord, so he will give gains only. So these gains can be like taking part in a venture, investment, etc. So there can be some investments, etc. in the Moon Mahadasha. But the thing is, it's not rosy, it's not very smooth. If it's 11th Lord in the 10th house or 11th Lord in the 2nd house, it would have been more rosy. In this case, it's not rosy. It will, because the planet is in a Dusthana, there will be some effort, but the thing is, it is more conducive to good results than right now. The Dasha right now is not that good. And right now, is it a good time to actually start do some business or something? Because that's the other thing he was asking. Should I do some business? What do you think? Right now, until 2011 May, the current Sun Mahadasha, is it conducive to doing business or not? Not really. You won't advise. I won't advise in this Dasha to do any business. It's not really a good idea. Because even though the planet is in the 2nd house, he's not showing, he doesn't have anything to do with the 3rd house, 7th house, all those things. Whereas Moon, he is the 11th Lord. He is the Lord of A7. A7 is Tarapada, business, 11th house. And he is in A3. So he has connection with the 3 Kamatrikonas. He is in the A3, he is the Lord of A7, he is the Lord of 11th house. So he has a connection.
When we say he's in A3, if he is falling in 12th house,
he is falling in the same sign as A3. Let me put it that way. I haven't really found the A3 longitude, etc. But he, even if there is no link with A3, even if A3 calculation is wrong, he is basically Lord of A7 and he is basically 11th Lord. So there is some chance of success in business in Moon Dasa rather than Sun Dasa. Sun has nothing to do with those factors. So moreover, 12th is not really, 12th can show investment but not really business, not necessarily business. Whereas Moon has a connection with 7th, A3, A7, A3, 11th and also 12th house. So he can show business, he can show investing and doing a business. So my advice would be, don't do anything hasty now, just hang on to whatever money you have, because if you start business you may actually burn your hands. You may burn your hands rather than make money.
I don't have too much money also.
Right.
On one note,
Yeah.
Sun being a 12th Lord,
Yeah.
would it be helpful if he tries for a job or any whatever activity in a remote land?
Yeah.
If he takes this from a foreign place,
Yeah, this is a foreign place. Yeah.
this or taking this
From here going to like
Not from here.
or something.
In Horoscope, 12th is foreign land. So compared to where he was born. So if there is a Rajoga involving 12th house, for example, you will say he will flourish abroad. So there is a Rajoga here and 12th Lord is involved, so you may say he flourishes abroad, generically. But you won't really advise him to go back somewhere now and try. Now, the other thing is,
Moon Dasa,
Moon Dasa?
Moon Dasa with respect to the D1 is
Yeah.
a 12th Lord, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Should that be taken into consideration when we are weighing down whether he needs to invest or not also? Because physically he might be having issues because he is the 12th Lord in the 5th house.
Yeah, is 12th Lord in 5th house bad? Is he bad? Is it a terrible combination? It's not a great thing, but it's fine. It's not really that bad. 12th house is not an evil house. It's a neutral house. So 12th Lord, being the 12th Lord, it's not like he shows lot of losses, but he can show investments, etc. Basically, he is in the 5th house of Purvapunya. So
Investment when it comes to 5th house,
no, 12th house. I'm saying 12th Lord. Being the 12th Lord, he should give some losses or expenses or investments. So, because he is in the 5th house of Purvapunya, so whatever losses or investments happen may have something to do with Purvapunya. There may be some, it doesn't seem like a misfortune basically. So,
I have lost some money in stock. When I stock, they said I should never be in stock. And even in my 401k, I lost money too.
Okay.
I mean, I know everybody lost. I invested 10,000 in a stock and I lost everything completely.
okay. Yeah, in the Hora chart also Sun is the Lagna Lord, but he is not bad, but he is debilitated in the 3rd house. He is not really showing great gains in speculation, for example. There is no connection with the 5th house, 8th house, etc. Now the thing is, in general, planets in the 5th house, because 5th house is the house of Purvapunya, planets in 5th house they tend to, they won't basically mess up your life. And he doesn't have any bad agendas. He is just the 12th Lord. So, I don't see Moon in the Rasi as a very bad placement. Moreover, if you look at the Arudha Lagna, he is in the 2nd house. So, planets in the 2nd house from Arudha Lagna, they are not really that bad. He should give some financial resources to the person. So, my feeling is Moon Dasa should be better. It's not like it will give some Rajoga or he will suddenly become very rich or he will get a lottery. Of course, 5th house can show lottery, 5th and 8th are the key houses, but there is no other impact. He is not like 8th Lord in 5th or something. He is only 12th Lord in the 5th house. So, I don't really think there will be suddenly lot of money obtained through inheritance or lottery or something, but he will work hard and he will make more progress than he is making right now financially. So, I think Moon Dasa is a better Dasa than the current Sun Dasa. Is there anything he can do, any prayers he can do to improve the remaining, instead of waiting till Moon Dasa, this Sun Rahu Antadasa, can he maximize whatever he gets out of this period? Is there anything he can do? Forget the Antardasha, just focus on the Dasha. It is Sun Dasha. So, propitiate Sun. If you propitiate Sun during this Sun Dasha, moreover in general Sun is his Lagna Lord. So propitiating Sun is a very good idea for him. Propitiating the Lagna Lord will give all-round progress in life. So he can propitiate Sun. And what is the best way to propitiate Sun? Aditya Hridayam, yes. Aditya Hridayam is a very good prayer for him.
Should I do that every day?
Yeah, if you can. Especially if you have time, just keep chanting for hours. Every day, suppose any prayer actually, any powerful prayer like Aditya Hridayam or any powerful prayer, if you do like 3-4 hours every day, definitely there will be a big impact on your life.
Okay. How many times should I say that? Or is
I don't want to say times because then instead of spending 3 hours, you will end up doing it in 1.5 hours and you will say, nothing will happen. So instead of putting number of times as a constraint, I would like to say time. So if you say like, you will probably not have that much time, but if you do, you sit down for 3 hours. You don't have to sit down on floor. Suppose you sit down in a chair and you keep chanting it for 3 hours. If you do that for a couple of months, it will have a major impact. The thing is, hours basically, if you do it in hours, not minutes. If you do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, some impact. But it won't really burn the really blocking karmas that well. If you do for hours, the blocking karmas will really be burned. In the beginning, the progress will be slow. With any sadhana, in the beginning, nothing will happen. You will do for many times, nothing is happening, you don't know what's going on. But once you cross a particular threshold, karmas start to burn. The thing is, why somebody suffers? There are some blocking karmas. And those karmas have to be unblocked. How do you unblock them? By suffering the consequences of them or by somebody taking away. But if somebody takes away, he also needs to suffer. So, at the end basically somebody needs to either suffer or through sadhana, somebody needs to just burn it away. So, one of those two has to happen. So, the best way to burn a karma is just do a mantra for hours. So, Aditya Hridayam, if you can chant for a few hours every day, like 3 hours or 4 hours or like that for every day, it will have a very potent effect on your health as well as your career. He is in the 10th house every day. The thing is actually, if somebody really starts doing a mantra like 3 hours, 4 hours every day, what will happen is, see, suppose there is a favorite song that you are listening to. When you are doing nothing, suddenly you start humming the song, right? Like that, if you keep chanting Aditya Hridayam all the time, when you are doing nothing, when you are in the bathroom or when you are doing something, suddenly your mind will start saying like that. It will just automatically come to your mind. Any mantra, not just
by reflex action.
Reflex action basically. Once a mantra becomes part of your reflex action, then you are actually making some progress. What that means is, instead of mind going here and there and thinking of weird thoughts, it will still do, but at least some part of the mind is filled with this mantra. So if that happens,
like Gayatri Japa, I do Gayatri Japa every day.
Good, that is also good for you.
Pray to Hanuman every day.
Good, that is also good. Hanuman is Yokarka, Mati is Yokarka, that is also good. Gayatri mantra is basically, if you have sun, that is also good. But the thing is, because we are talking about Saturn in Lagna, health problems, etc., and Sun basically Lagna Lord in an inimical sign, we are talking about health problems, and I am very sure your Gayatri pronunciation will not be correct, and I don't even want to correct it. So the best will be Aditya Hridayam compared to the Veda mantra, which you are unlikely to do correctly and benefit. To a Pauranic mantra like Aditya Hridayam or Om Ghunit Surya Aditya Om, that mantra, the best will be Aditya Hridayam. The thing is, if you are doing a small mantra like Om Ghunit Surya Aditya Om, that actual mantra is Om Ghunit Surya Aditya, 8-letter Ashtakshi mantra given by Manu. If you do that, the thing is, you are doing something very small. So if you have to do it for 3 hours, you have to do such a big count, and after a while you get bored. The thing is, mind. Somebody who has a very stable mind can actually do a small mantra and keep doing for hours. But somebody with an unstable mantra, and I am guessing that you have a little unstable mantra based on the chart. So somebody like you will not be able to focus your mind on something so small. Whereas if it is big, you have like, okay, there are 40 slokas or 30 slokas, I have this much, there is this much more. Your mind is still doing unnecessary thoughts, but these are better than other thoughts. So for some people, simple mantra repeating continuously is better. For some people, a long thing like Chandi Path, you have 700 slokas, or Vishwasnam, 108 slokas, or Altyahudayam, some 30-40 slokas. That kind of things will work better for some people, and my feeling that will work better for you. So try any time, but best is the morning. Yeah, preferably daytime. If not morning, do afternoon, evening is also fine, but preferably in the daytime. Nighttime is not. You can do in the nighttime, but effect will be less.
Yeah, when the sun is rising.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. Can I ask questions?
Yes. Yes, ask.
Now, I have health problems. This is swelling here for about 2 months now.
Swelling where in the throat?
Oh,
those nodes. Yeah. What are they called? Lymph nodes or whatever?
Not lymph nodes. I went to the ENT. He says we won't operate on it because it's not very big yet.
Yeah.
So, but he seems to think it should be okay. They want a CAT scan and all that. But the parotid gland, it's the saliva.
Yeah.
Congested. It's not secreting. So it's all it's collected there. That's why it's swelling. But it's very comfortable, and I have also pain here to the shoulder for 2 months now. It's very
okay.
And of course the hernia. So one question is any major health problem? Like I have to go for hernia surgery. That is one.
Okay.
And now I'm 60 years old. You said if I go to job 62, I'm thinking of retiring by 62. I don't want to. I may go back to India.
We are not talking about going to job. We are not saying that moon will give you a job.
Okay.
He may give you an opportunity to invest and do some kind of business. Yeah, some way to basically get money. Okay. There is a possibility in Moon Dasa.
I have had 5 interviews. In fact, I had an interview last week too.
Okay.
But somehow I seem to do well, but it doesn't turn out. I'm very surprised. Previously, I used to go for a job interview 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Immediately I get a call next day. Now that's also not happening. So, and the other, I have a major financial problem. My house is mortgaged. I went to after you do this, I'll tell that I don't know how I'm going to. I'm collecting unemployment now, but I'm just barely surviving now. I went for a loan modification with City Mortgage. They have also not done it. It's 8 months now. It's not become permanent yet. Whether that will become permanent or otherwise, I don't want to go into bankruptcy or sell the house, that kind of stuff. I won't get I won't get any mortgage if you want to.
Yeah.
Because of that, my credit took a hit. Now I applied for a loan for my son. That's getting cancelled. They cancelled my credit card. I had excellent credit, except when I called the City Mortgage in February, I said I'm going to lose my job. She said at that time they just came up with the Obama government's federal modification program.
Yeah.
She said in order to qualify you have to miss one payment. So I took her advice and missed one payment. So that is the only payment I missed in my life. And that took a hit. My credit took a hit. Everything took a hit. Now I won't be able to buy a house also.
Okay.
That's the other problem. They have temporarily reduced my mortgage to 60% now, which is manageable for me right now.
Okay.
But they have not made it permanent yet. So those are all the worries also I have, plus the health.
Yeah.
So,
are you wearing any gem?
What?
Are you wearing any gemstone?
Yeah, this is what about yellow sapphire, I think.
Pusharagam, Pokharaj. Okay.
Jupiter.
Yes. The 5th Lord and also the 8th Lord who is debilitated in the 6th house. It's an interesting gemstone, you are to say.
I don't know, some astrologer in Madras told me,
Yeah.
Natalla Sampati Chetty, the jeweler, I went there and he looked at my horoscope, does astrology.
Because
he said you should have it.
Jupiter doesn't have a good agenda for him.
Yeah.
Yellow sapphire.
Definitely not in career.
5th Lord is okay.
See, 5th Lord, but 5th Lord in 6th house is not that good. 5th Lord,
Is he in the 6th house?
he may be. Yeah, he is. Oh no, actually I was checking Rasi. Is he before the degree? Yeah, he is actually above. So he is 5th Lord in the 6th house, in debility, but with Nichapanga because he is retrograde. But basically he is not that well placed. Moreover, he is also the 8th Lord. He is not only the 5th Lord, he is also the 8th Lord.
8th Lord in 6th.
Yes, it is.
But it's not doing anything.
It is also 5th Lord in 6th. So there is a mix. It's a mixed kind of yoga. And moreover, in the Dashamsa, forget Rasi, in the Dashamsa, he is a terrible planet. His agenda is not at all good in career. He is not at all a good planet for your career. So I'm not really sure in the Navamsha of basically Punya, Dharma, etc. He is 8th and 11th Lord in the 11th with Guru Chandala Yoga. He is not really a great planet in several charts. In the Dashamsha he is not. And let's see the Hora, the finances. He is again the same, 5th and 8th Lord in the 6th house. He is a very average planet. He is worth praying to, but not really worth wearing on your body.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure if it's a good stone for you.
Negative influence, I can remove it.
In my judgment, it is a mixed influence, and especially in career, it's a negative influence. Overall in life, it's a mixed influence, some negative, some positive, but in career, it's a negative influence. Actually, for career, what do you guys think would be the best thing for him to wear? He may or may not be able to take it now, but what would be your guess? Yes, Saturn and Venus are the Rajoga giving planets, right? But Saturn, if you take the dicey thing, he's in Lagna in Rasi. He's a 6th Lord in Lagna and Rasi, and his Vimshodri Dasha is going on right now. So he can give some health problems, some diseases, etc. Some Vata diseases he can give. So because his Dasha is running right now based on Vimshodri. So Saturn, if you wear, it is good for career, but it will mess up health and other things. It will cause too much Vata in the body, too much dryness. And Venus, he is fine. He is the 10th Lord in Rasi. He is in the 11th house. 10th Lord in the 11th house, showing gains, career, etc. And he is not really bad for physical health also. He is not particularly good, but he is not at all bad. And he is 2nd Lord in the 2nd house in Rasi chart, in Dashamsha chart. So my guess is diamond is a very good gemstone for him to wear. If he has to wear a gemstone, diamond is a good gemstone. Even red ruby is fine. Actually not fine. For career it's not good. I take it back. It's only for health. So not even red ruby. I will say, red coral again. In the Rasi it is good, but in the Dashamsa he is 8th Lord. So it is also not good. And Navamsa, if you see, Venus is Lagna Lord, right? Yeah. So Venus is Lagna Lord in the 10th house. It is perfectly fine. And if you see the Hora chart, he is in the 2nd house. He is the 3rd and 10th Lord in the 2nd house in debility. Not at all bad. So overall, financially, overall in terms of luck in life, fortune, as shown in Navamsa, career, all these factors taken into account. Diamond is better to wear than what he is wearing right now. Actually, that's a good catch.
So should I buy a diamond? I mean, I don't have money now. Should I buy it?
You don't have to buy a diamond. If you have a diamond, it's a good gem to wear. I wouldn't say go somehow, take a loan on your house, buy a diamond and it will solve all your problems. I wouldn't say that. It will help a little bit. And this one is actually not helping. This is actually unhelping.
Suggesting something like to wear white clothes or if possible.
You can, but such things are unlikely to make huge difference. Really. They are just very minor, very minor influence. So that doesn't help. But gemstone can help a little bit, but it's not necessary. What I suggest is do Aljahudayam like a mad person. I can also suggest a few other things. But the thing is, my suggestion is instead of doing different things, just stick to one thing.
Do one thing first.
Just do one thing. But one thing I'll say, because of Venus connection, do a little bit of Lakshmi Ashtotram. Mahalakshmi Ashtotram. Prakritim Vikritim Vidyam, that one. There will be 14 shlokas. Read that a few times, like half hour, 25 minutes, like that. So read that for half hour, and another 2.5 hours just read Aljahudayam. Give priority to Aljahudayam because it will set so many things right. Once you cross some threshold with your effort, I will not be surprised if things start moving your way, irrespective of the dashas and dashas.
It may undo the bad effects of the.
It may undo the bad effects of your previous karmas. Whatever is happening is a result of your previous karmas, what you did in the past, which is resulting in this dasha right now, this antardasha right now. So it should help. Now the thing is, how are the transits? Just based on Rasi. Yes, go ahead.
The point is we can fast on at least once a week.
I am fasting on Thursday eve nights.
Thursday night?
That was Guru or something. Yeah, again I was doing it. But
Okay, what is it?
30 years ago somebody said that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would
So what is it?
instead of Jupiter, I would pass for Sun
Why?
because it's basically to alleviate the effect of Sun. Basically, you are going to please Sun in that process. It's not out of any particular thing. Or we can take D10 or I mean not D10. We can take the 10th house and then do that.
Yeah.
But Sun is a better thing than maybe Jupiter.
You may be right. I don't really have any recommendation. I won't really say fast on a particular day. I won't really say that. More than fasting, I will say just keep chanting all of them. Keep chanting all of them. So Sun is in an inimical sign. Sun is at okay. Now actually let's see the transits. Apart from the Dasa, see Saturn Dasa is running based on Vimshoti Dasa and Sun Dasa based on Rishabha Dasa. But Sun's transit will keep changing every month. He moves so fast. So let's focus on Saturn transit. Saturn in general is important because he moves slowly. Moreover, he is the Vimshoti Dasa Lord. So his transit is very vital. So if he is suffering for a while, definitely Saturn's transit has to be bad. So how is Saturn transiting right now? Let us see that. So if you see, pardon me, Saturn was in Leo for a while and now he is in Virgo. And if you see the moon, how was the transit? For me? Right now he is in the 9th house. Moon is, where is moon? Saturn. One second, I'll explain. Moon is at the end of Sagittarius, right? So, the way I have explained houses recently, from 28 degrees Sagittarius to 28 degrees Capricorn is first house. So, like that if you see, from 28 degrees Cancer till 28 degrees Leo is the 8th house. So, until recently, Saturn was in 8th house. So, during the last 3 years, basically, effectively during the last 3 years, Saturn was in the 8th house from Moon. And that is Ashtamasini transit. That is not a good transit. It shows all kinds of tensions, worries, okay, yeah, health problems, career problems, all kinds of anxiety basically. It will build up in the mind. So, that is given by Saturn in the 8th house, right? And moreover, after he crosses 28 degrees in Cancer, the Ashtamasini starts. And after he crosses over 5 degrees in Leo, he is in the first house from Lagna now. Apart from 8th house from Moon, from Lagna, now he starts to transit in the first house. So, first house is body. So, he can give physical tensions, physical problems also. So, the thing is, he is transiting over Lagna, he is transiting over the 8th house from Moon. So, he is basically hammering out in various ways. So, now the thing is, he has crossed over 28 degrees in Leo. So, now he is in the 9th house. He is not in the 8th house anymore. So, Ashtamasini has gone away. Bhagisini has started. It is not any better. It is not good, but it is better. It is not as bad. It is not good, but it is not as bad as the previous one. So, Saturn's tensions basically, as far as the physical, mental tension is concerned, there should be some relief. There is a scope of some relief based on the transit. We have to combine with the Dasa and give final judgment, but just based on the transit, the negative transit is actually less powerful now. Now, let us see from the Dashamsha. Where is Dashamsha Moon? Because that is career, right? His main tension is career. If he finds a good job, then all other problems will work out. Even though there are so many other problems he mentioned, like not having good credit cards, problems, debt, house, mortgage, house, all these things. He has so many problems. But all have a root cause in the job, lack of job. So, how is Moon in Dashamsha? He is at 12 degrees. Moon is at 12 degrees in Virgo. Now, so 12 degrees Leo till 12 degrees Virgo is the 12th house. So, in the last couple of years, not only was Saturn transiting in the 8th house from natal Rashi Moon and transiting in the first house from natal Rashi Lagna, but he was also transiting in the 12th house from natal Dashamsha Moon. So, it's basically he is hammering in so many ways. So, from career point of view, last 2 years basically Saturn is quite bad.
But Saturn in 12th house, in transiting in 12th in Dashamsha is not that
No, it is bad. It is the so-called lunar Shani are 7.5 years of Saturn from Dashamsa moon, not from Rasi moon, but from Dashamsa moon. It also with respect to the yes. Yeah, recently it is from Lagna, but let us focus more on moon. So from moon, the 7.5 years of Saturn is running.
Do we see when we see the Elnasani, do we see the thing only in Rasi? Because
No, not only in the Rasi. You will see people, you can see the transits of various planets like Saturn, Jupiter from the Navamsa moon, from the Dashamsa moon, all these. Not necessarily just from the Rasi moon.
Because this is a divisional chart, does this transitional period be different in this case?
No. Take the transit in the Rasi chart, but see the reference in the Dashamsa chart. See Dashamsa moon as reference and see how the transit is. And if you see like this, so many things, other things will make sense. Somebody may be running 7.5 years of Saturn based on Rasi moon, but he may be doing fine in career. But he may be suffering in marriage. So see, the thing is, you don't suffer in all areas of life at the same time. Sometimes your marriage is good, but your job is bad. Sometimes your marriage is terrible, is falling apart, but your career is fine. So all these things make sense if you look at the Navamsa moon, Dashamsa moon, etc. as references. So, right. So Dashamsa, see Navamsa if you take, Navamsa moon also actually is in Virgo. Let me not look at there may be a problem from Navamsa also, but let us ignore it. But the main problem is Dashamsa and Rasi are throwing up a bad transit of Saturn at the same time, around the same time. Basically one way last 3.5 years, another way last 2.5 years, like that. So both ways, especially in the last 2 years, both of them are showing bad. One is Ashtama Shani, one is Elnar Shani. So that is accentuating the problem. Moreover, Saturn Dasa is running right now based on Vimshatri. So that problem is also there. So transit wise there is a problem. So the thing is, again, the solution can be to get some relief from the Saturn problem. See, the thing is, just Saturn Dasa, Saturn's Gochara is not the problem. It is aided by the current Sun Dasa. It is aided by the overall weakness of Sun in the Dashamsa and in the Rashi. So my suggestion is, you can do other things for this Saturn transit. For example, you can pray to Hanuman. You said that you already pray to Hanuman. So consolidating everything I said so far, some prayer of Hanuman like Hanuman Chalisa is good. Some prayer of Lakshmi like Lakshmi Ashtottaram is good. And in addition, Aditya Hridayam is very, very good for you. So I will suggest do all these three, but focus on Aditya Hridayam. And I keep saying always that instead of doing 10 different things, focus on one thing, right? But for some people who are not really looking for doing one mantra and experiencing Devata or experiencing something, they are doing it for solving simple material problems. In that case, it's okay to do 10 mantras, it's okay to do 5 mantras. It's not like...
It's okay to propagate different gods also.
Yeah, it is okay to propitiate different gods. I used to say that instead of digging in 5 different places for water, dig in one place. The thing is, this person is not digging to find water. He is digging to make a pile of sand, let us say, somebody. In that case, if you actually dig in different places, you may get sand of different kinds and you may get the right combination that you need. So from that point of view, I go back on what I said earlier. It is sometimes useful to propitiate different deities. Especially when a material problem is bogging you down so badly that you are unable to focus your mind on anything.
Yeah, the worries.
Right. Such a person, if you say, hey man, this is all Maya, job or no job, who cares? It's all Maya, all Brahman. Be absorbed in Satchidananda. See, it is possible. Some people actually are born to go through such suffering and then come out of it and then just realize God and don't give a damn to anything. You guys have no clue how he's saying, oh, I have no job, I have no this. You have no clue what kind of tension Vivekananda experienced for several weeks during a particular phase of his life. He was without job, he wanted to find a job, nobody would give him a job, his father basically expired, he left a huge amount of loans because he would give away money to everybody and he didn't have any money. A huge amount of loans. His house would be, there was a chance of losing his house. His sister, one of his sisters went mad. She even committed suicide. Actually, a couple of his sisters committed suicide. So one sister was basically mad. There were so many problems. And at that time, Ramakrishna basically told him, this is all Maya, just leave it and come to me. We will propagate Dharma in the world. But even Vivekananda couldn't. At that time, his mind was so absorbed in all this that he couldn't focus his mind on God. Even Vivekananda, who Ramakrishna said is one of the Saptarshis. He said he's one of the 7 rishis who came to earth to do a specific mission. Even he was in the grasp of Maya and he couldn't focus his mind on God. But the thing is, because he is he, the way he came out of the problems is not by doing 10 mantras and propitiating gods and getting a job. It's not by doing that, but just saying, what the hell, I'll just renounce this. He basically said, it doesn't matter. And he actually went into a very special kind of samadhi during that experience, and at the end of it, he went to Ramakrishna and said, I'm ready to do whatever you ask me to do. Tell me what I need to do. But the thing is, it's not appropriate for everybody. So you have to recognize who's a material person, who's a spiritual person, who's a material person who will do some spiritual thing, but not really meant for spiritual achievement in that life. So based on that, you have to give the advice. So my advice would be, do a little bit of Hanuman, do a little bit of Lakshmi.
I just pray to Hanuman, but I don't do the Hanuman Chal. I've not done Hanuman Chalis at all. So you have to start.
Try Hanuman Jalisa.
Hanuman every day.
So what do you pray to Hanuman? What prayer do you do to Hanuman?
I'm not supposed to say that.
Okay, you have some mantra given by somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
It is your choice. You can do that mantra.
I'm doing 108 times every day.
Okay, you can do, count doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Because 108 probably will get over in 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, plus, that's right. Plus,
Yeah.
I do it whenever I remember other times also.
See, if that mantra is working out fine for you, do that mantra. That's perfectly fine. I don't know what that mantra is, but it's perfectly fine. But the thing is, Hanuman Chalisa is definitely a good mantra. It is Tulsida, there is power in that mantra. The mantra you were given may also have, depending on who gave it to you, when they gave it to you, what state they were in, what state you were in. It may also work. So it's up to you. Do something for Hanuman. Do something for Hanuman and do something for Lakshmi, preferably Lakshmi Ashtotram. The thing is, I have done Lakshmi Ashtotram many times in my life so far. That is one of my stable mantras. So the thing is, because I'm not teaching you the mantra, but I gave you the advice to do that mantra. So when you get advice to do a particular mantra from somebody who has some achievement with that mantra, it will actually work better for you.
Okay.
So from that point of view, if I feel inspired to tell somebody to do Lakshmi Ashtotram, it will be good for them to do Lakshmi Ashtotram. So do Lakshmi Ashtotram, do Hanuman Chalisa, and then do Aditya Hridayam. And focus on Aditya Hridayam. Focus on Sun.
Just a small question.
Yes.
You right now said that there are certain people who are supposed to do certain things.
Yeah.
How would you realize it? How do you know it? How would
Yeah. How would you know it? Yeah.
Do more sadhana and that will
and that he will tell you.
No. Apart from sadhana, look at the horoscope, look at the Rasi, look at the Vimshamsha, look at whether there are any combination. What is the level of renunciation in the person? Look at the chart, right? Are there any indications of spirituality in this chart? Tell me.
Even D20 sir. D20 system.
Rasi and D20, yes, and Navamsha, right? If you look at Rashi, Saturn is in Lagna. Saturn is actually in the 12th house. Is that good for spirituality?
Yes.
good for sadhana.
It is good for sadhana. Rahu and Ketu on the 8th house axis. Is it good or bad? Yeah.
That's good.
It is good for sadhana. Rahu and Ketu on the 8th house axis. Right? So there are good combinations for spiritual sadhana. Right? Do you agree with that? Okay. Now go to the Vimshamsha, go to the Navamsha. This is basically the sense of dharma of the person. So if you go to the Navamsha, how is Navamsha chart? And who are the planets for in general dharma? Sun and Jupiter. They are the karkas of dharma. Sun and Jupiter. Sun is acting on dharma and Jupiter is knowing dharma. So Sun and Jupiter are the key planets for dharma. And how are they placed in the Navamsha chart? How are they placed in the Navamsha chart?
Jupiter is well placed. They are well placed. Both are well placed. But of course, you have 8.
But there is nodal influence on Jupiter and Sun, both, on both. Right. Jupiter is in one house, but he is the 8th lord. 8th lord joining the 7th house. It's a Marka combination. Moreover, there is Kurchandala Yoga there. Right?
But when you see from spiritual or from
I'm just, this is not spirituality, this is dharma. Right? In the chart of dharma, Navamsha, 7th lord and 8th lord are together. Basically, it's a marga combination. Moreover, Rahu is joining them, giving Gurujandala Yoga. So that is not really, Jupiter is not really that strong in the Navamsha. Right?
But will Guru Mangala Yoga will that?
Guru Mangala Yoga is good, but again, like I said, 7th and 8th lords together is not good. So it's a mixed combination, and Rahu's presence there is spoiling it. So I won't call Jupiter, even though he is in one sign, I won't call Jupiter strong in this chart. Right? And the Sun, the other Karaka of Dharma, acting on Dharma, he is with Ketu. So again, he is eclipsed. So there are some negative indications. When it comes to the sense of Dharma, there are some negative indications. The person may not be highly dharmic. The person's sense of Dharma may not be very strong. And now, in the Navamsha, who is in Lagna? Mercury. And Saturn is a Yokarka. He has Agna on Lagna. And Venus is Lagna Lord, he is in the 10th house. Those are the dominant influences. And Mercury and Saturn and Mercury, they are planets that can show some selfishness. Swadharma basically. Mercury is a very adaptive kind of planet. And these planets are more conducive to doing, see, everybody has dharma towards their own body, their own family, their own things basically. Take care of your body, I should be well, that is also dharma, it's not wrong. But the thing is, the higher dharma, doing the higher dharma is given by Jupiter and Sun. And with their being afflicted and a stronger influence of Mercury on Lagna, planets like Mercury and Moon will promote some selfishness, some self-centeredness. So, based on the Navamsha, I can say, yes, Moon the mind and Mercury the buddhi. They will work more towards your own ends. They have a clear concept of this is me, this is somebody else. Whereas Sun and Jupiter don't distinguish this is me, this is somebody else. Whether it is your son who is out of job or neighbor's son who is out of job, if you feel compassionate, if you feel, oh, he is suffering, you feel the same for them. That is what is given by Sun and Jupiter. Whereas what Moon and Mercury give is thinking about your own things. So the influence of Mercury on the Lagna, a strong influence of Mercury on Lagna in the Navamsha, it makes it likely that his dharma is based on some self-centeredness. So there is some self-centeredness in the person, but there is also spiritual potential. Now let us go to Vimshamsha, which shows spiritual potential. So Lagna has Rahu and Ketu. Is that good or bad? It's excellent. Why? Rahu is the 12th lord, Ketu is the 9th lord. 9th and 12th lords in Lagna. Dharma and 12th is Moksha. So lords of the Dharma and Moksha sthanas in Lagna. Except that Rahu and Ketu are not really in Lagna. They are actually in the 12th house. So again, that's good. Rahu and Ketu in the 12th house is perfectly fine. Now, how is Jupiter placed? Lagna Lord, he is in the 6th house. Lagna Lord Jupiter is in the 6th house, if you look at the houses. It's not really a great placement. And are there any other interesting combinations, interesting placements? Saturn, Venus together in the 2nd house. They are in the 3rd, but house-wise, because Lagna is at 29 degrees, they will be in the 2nd house. Is Saturn and Venus combination a good combination? Yes. 8th Lord and 12th Lord. Right? 8th Lord and 12th Lord together in the 2nd house, aspecting the 8th house. So that is good. So basically Venus, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu, these are the planets who are really showing something good. So the current Dasa may or may not be a great Dasa, but in general there is spiritual potential in the chart. But the thing is, the current Dasa is not really that conducive. And more importantly, the person, so these are all the indications that we see. Astrologically you see there is spiritual potential, but the best Dasa is not running right now, maybe later. And secondly, the person has some self-centeredness. And third of all, when he asks us, he is so passionate about his current problems. So when somebody is so passionate about current problems, you have two choices. One is tell him, you are unnecessarily, you are seeing a rope and saying that it's a snake, you are so scared of that rope and you are crying. It's just a rope, man, move on. You can say that, of course. But the thing is, it may or may not work. So that is one option. The other option is, tell him, yeah, what a terrible snake. You know what, in order to get rid of that snake, get a candle, put it here. And when he puts the candle, eventually he will look at it and say, oh, this is not a snake, this is a rope, he will realize. So instead of telling him this is a rope, not a snake, tell him to go and get a candle. But the thing is, getting the candle will take a long time. He has to first go in the darkness, grope in the darkness, find a candle, find a matchstick, try to light the matchstick. It won't light in the first attempt, he will light a few times, and finally it will light. He will put the candle, he will somehow make it back. Then he will say, now that the candle is there, the snake will not do anything to me. He will be in the state for a while, and eventually he will look at the rope and realize, oh, it's a rope, why was I scared? So that will take a while. So the thing is, you can, if you think that the person is ready, you can tell him, this is all Maya, just move on. That is possible, but the thing is, I can tell you, many times it won't work. Only when the person is ripe, it will work. And so I have given you some guideline of how to find, but there is no real thumb rule to say, this is, you should give somebody a material advice, or you should give somebody
So that's the analysis,
purely.
whether to do spiritual.
See, in your situation, you can basically leave it to Krishna and say, or whoever you believe in. You can say, Sarvam Krishnarpanam or Sarvam Sivarpanam. He is doing through me. I am just an instrument. So all I can do is my best effort I can do.
That's how I rationalize, last 7 months, everything.
Yeah.
That's how I'm kind of surviving. instead of
Yeah.
breaking
Good,
down.
very good, very good, very good.
Yeah.
The thing is, if
Pray to God every time.
is a surrender,
I've been praying,
in the beginning when there is a problem, you pray to God to solve the problem.
Yes.
Later, you pray to the God not to solve a problem, because you don't know what is the right thing. Solving the problem or keeping you in the problem, or you don't know what is the right result, basically. So you just pray to the God, you don't want anything, you just, whatever happens, you can go with the flow. You don't really want anything or want to avoid anything. Whatever happens, you take it as it comes, you just go. Then you will be always happy, you will be doing the best that you can, you are happy, you are not tense, you are not anxious, but you are not staying away from the action that you need to take. So that state, that is what Shastras talk about, whether it's Upanishads or Yoga Vasistham or Bhagavad Gita or Ashtavakar Gita or whatever scripture you take, or Avadhota Gita, whichever text you take, scripture, that is basically what they talk about. But the thing is, it's easier said than done. So the thing is, in the beginning, tell people to pray to some God, and instead of saying pray 15 minutes and something may happen, which is a lie, I'm telling him to pray 3 hours. If he indeed does every day 3 hours of prayer with one particular mantra, instead of wavering on different things, one particular thing, if he is Ajahridayam, if he keeps chanting, hopefully it will become ingrained in his brain. And once it becomes ingrained in his mind will slowly stop going on other things. So instead, still he will be worrying, but the worry will slowly become less. See, mind, by definition, is something that moves. Mind is an object that moves. So it needs to move from one thing to another. It needs to, the Vayu has to be moving in the mind, then only mind will survive. If mind stops moving, if mind is stable for a second, it dies. You are in Samadhi. So the thing is, as long as you are not in Samadhi, mind is moving, mind is thinking of something or the other, this, that, this object is like this, that object is like this, I like this object, I don't like this object. That is the nature of mind. So the thing is,
When you are thinking about God, aren't you not?
yes, still mind is moving. But the thing is, when you are thinking about God or thinking about repeating a mantra, your mind is moving in some patterns. When those patterns become established in the mind, there is a good chance that your mind will become stable suddenly.
It's going to resonate with that sound.
Yes. You are trying to find something with which mind can resonate, and then suddenly it can stop. The goal of all sadhana is to make the mind stop. Samadhi is stopping of the mind.
It's basically walking through an initialized linked list rather than uninitialized linked list.
Right. So basically, in other words, it is like it's a monkey that keeps roaming here and there. Now you are telling it, you are tying it to a pole. The mantra or the God is a pole. You are saying be here. So it jumps around, jumps around, jumps around. When it does it in a pattern, there is a good chance that it will basically, it is more calm. Suddenly one day it will calm down. It will say, as you are doing the mantra, like I said, in the beginning, your mind is having thousands of thoughts. Later, as you spend 3 hours every day doing a particular mantra, your mind starts thinking about that mantra. So even though it has other thoughts, if you take the entire space of your mind, maybe 1% is filled with the mantra. So it's resonating in the mind 1% of the time. It will increase. Later, half the time, mind is thinking of that mantra and not thinking of other things. Slowly, as the mind is becoming more familiar with this mantra and thinks of the mantra as a natural state of being, rather than something you are forcing on yourself and doing every day for 3 hours for some stupid reason. That is how you will feel in the beginning. Why am I doing? Maybe if I do this, I will get the result, so I will do. Like that you will do. But eventually, that may also happen. See, the thing is, the way planets work on you is they grab your mind. The planets will grab your mind. That is why they are called grahas. Graha means grahayati. It just grasps. Grasper. Graha means grasper. They grasp your mind. So the thing is, you may think something is happening in your career because somebody else thinks so and so of you or some. That's not why it happens. When a planet grasps your mind, it basically makes your mind think in a particular way. And it makes you think in a particular way. When it makes you think in a particular way, you are acting in a particular way. The way you think guides the way you act, and the way you act guides the way things happen to you. So the thing is, if your mind, you have a perfect control over how you behave, you have a perfect control over what is happening to you. Moreover, suppose you are out of job, still if you are not able to think of it, you are happy. What is making you unhappy is not having the job or losing a house. See, the thing is, suppose I lose my job, suppose I lose my house, suppose I lose everything I have. Still, suppose I am sitting on the steps of one temple in India. Suppose I go back to India and I am sitting on the steps of a temple in Tiruvannamalai, and suppose I am begging and I get some food, I am basically surviving. I can be happy. It's not that I cannot be happy in the state. So in other words, people hang on to so many things and say, this is a prerequisite for happiness. This is a prerequisite. People have thousands of prerequisites. They don't realize that they have, but they do. In their mind, they have thousands of prerequisites. They are all woven into the mind as a conditioning of the mind based on all the experiences of previous lives. You have so many things that are ingrained in your mind. You don't even know of it. So the thing is, once you let each of them go, you realize that none of it is necessary for happiness. If you are happy, you are happy. Doesn't matter. It's a state of mind. And you are what you really need is not a job or not house. The state of mind is what you are searching for, and what everybody is searching for. Now the thing is, to reach the state of mind, if you do a mantra, any mantra, slowly it will enable you to reach the state of mind. In the beginning, it will let you think less of these problems. In the process, it may even give you a job. But I am saying that is secondary. That is not the main thing. It may give you a job. See, for example, I know somebody who left India, who was in US, who suddenly in a spurt of the moment he said, I'll go back to India. He went back to India, and it was good because he was around 40 years of age. He wasn't married. Once he went to India, he found a girl to get married to. He got married, and then suddenly he decided, I don't like India. I want to go back to US. So he resigned a nice job he had. He came to US, and he didn't have a job. And this economy is not really that conducive to getting a new job, getting a job, especially when you've been out of country for a long time, for a couple of years. You came back, and he didn't care. He said, okay, if I get a job, I'll get a job. Otherwise, I'll wait for a few months and I'll go back. So he was doing Chandi Homam every day. On 40th day, basically, before that he was doing Ganpati Homam, but once he came to US, he started doing Chandi Homam every day because he had enough time now. So 40th day, he got an offer. So he's going to join the job. So the thing is like that. Sometimes when you do a homam or japam or meditation, home is with fire. That is another thing you can consider actually. Whatever state of mind you can achieve in 3 hours of meditation with any mantra, the same state of mind you can achieve if you spend like 40 minutes in front of fire. So you can actually consider doing a homam with Aditya Hridayam.
But do you say that we should first get at least some, instead of starting home on day one?
In my opinion, some people have this standard. You have to do 1 lakh japam before you do 10,000, like 1/10 homam. They say X is the count you do for japam, and then 1/10 is the count you do for homam. There is a viewpoint, but the thing is, it's not really sanctioned by any scriptures. It's just a tradition. And my view is, they say that because whatever whatever vibrations you are able to create in your mind by doing meditation, a normal person, by doing meditation for a count of X, you can create the same vibration in the mind by doing 1/10 of X in front of fire. Because when you are doing japam, it is the fire that is inside you that is burning the impurities in your system. Whereas when you sit in front of a fire, there is a real fire. So you will see the difference when you actually sit in front of a fire and meditate. You don't even have to do a homam. If there is a big fire, somebody is doing homam, you sit in front of the fire and you meditate, you will see a difference compared to regular meditation. So there is power in the fire. Just like when you sit with me, you think astrology. When you suppose Sunil Gavaskar comes, your friend, you send a photo, I saw the photo by the way, I see your mail, I don't respond but I see your mail. Suppose Sunil Gavaskar comes to you and you spend a day with him, you are thinking cricket, your mind is on that wavelength. Suppose a politician comes that you know, you will be thinking politics. So like that, depending on who you are with, who is in the vicinity, you may not even see the person sometimes. There may be a person, a great saint in the next room. Without knowing, you may feel some good vibrations. So like that, depending on who you are next to, which vibrations are in the air, you will basically think along those lines. So when there is a fire, fire also has vibrations. The vibrations of fire are quite pure. It is called pavaka, the purifier. So when you are near those vibrations, it will actually create similar vibrations. It will strengthen similar vibrations in your mind. So
I just create a fire and start saying the japa, that's all, or do you have to do?
There is some minimum procedure.
Okay.
You can download the homam manuals from my website, vedicastrologer.org.
Does it say how to prepare the fire also and all that?
Yeah, it's a manual for the dummies.
Okay.
And you are not necessarily a dummy, but you can use, for example, there is a manual for Mars homam. You can use that as a template and you can do for sun. I can guide you basically if you call me later. But you have to first download the Mars homam manual and go through it. And then I can guide you. But what I suggest is before you start homam, for a few days, read Aditya Hridayam, every day 3 hours, for a few days.
I'll have to buy a computer. My computer also.
Do whatever you need to do and get a text of Aditya Hridayam, practice it so that you are fluent with the text.
Yes.
So to answer your question, in my opinion, you don't have to do japam at all. You can directly do homam. But exactly, fluency, to get the fluency, I will suggest basically, if somebody wants to do Chandi homam, I say read Chandi part for a few months or few weeks so that you are fluent with the text and then jump into it. But the 1/10 requirement, I don't accept it.
You always need to have a priest to do these homams. I didn't know whether you have to do it yourself.
Yeah. Now actually there are hundreds of people doing homam by themselves without any priest. There are now in the whole world. Mostly doing Ganapati homam but doing different kinds of homam. There are, now the count is actually close to 1,000 people who are doing every day by themselves. It's very close to 1,000. So many people are doing and it will help you. So what I suggest is consider homam, but before that do...
I'll just do this for a couple of months and then I'll start getting.
Yes.
My two other questions is major health problems, surgery, and then what is going to... I was hoping I'll get a job in the next month or so. Now 2 years without a job means what will happen to my house?
See, the thing is, you are thinking too much about things that are not in your control. What will happen to your house? Well, if you don't get a job for too long, if you have to be bankrupt, you will be bankrupt. What can you do by thinking what will happen to my house? There's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is go for interviews. Send your resume to as many places as you can. See, always you have to identify what is in your hands, what is not in your hands, and focus on what is in your hands. Do the best you can, and rest is not in your hands. By worrying, by thinking too much about the house, you are not going to rescue the house. So that is the essence of Karma Yoga. You basically
on the essence of the contrary, on the contrary, he is going to develop depression, which is going to lead to his health problems.
Exactly. So the thing is, by focusing on.
I say this only to you people. I'm seeing a psychiatrist also now.
Okay. See, the thing is, this is the problem with modern people, in the material world. What happens is, based on the previous karmas, you find yourself in certain situations. And in those situations, to come out of those situations, by worrying about the consequences, you are not going to solve anything. As a matter of fact, like he said, you actually aggravate the problem. You make the current action less efficient. Your current action will be more efficient if you just focus on the current action. What can I do now? Is there anything in my hands?
I'm talking like a past, being proactive, plan in such a way as to avoid that. That is the way I'm thinking.
I understand. But the thing is, okay, be proactive. Look at what you can do. But as long as you find something that you can do it. But the thing is, if you say, I can do this, but unfortunately I can't do it, then don't think about it. What people, I'm not saying you, what people in general do is, they are thinking too much about things that are totally out of their control, and they are speculating. If this happens, this will happen. If this happens, this will happen. Okay, fine. But it hasn't happened. What is the point in thinking about it? It will only make you more depressed. And as a result of the depression, you are not able to think straight about what exactly you need to do now. So the thing is, the ideal yogi, he will just focus on what he needs to do right now. What can I do right now? Is there anything in my hands? He will look at all his options, and he will, based on the best analysis that he can do, and the best intuition that he has access to, basically mixing the intuition as well as analysis, he will come up with the best possible action. Once he decides, he will do it and say, Krishnarpanam. Whatever happens as a result, not in my control. It's not really in your control. It's in God's control. So do the best you can and forget about the rest. And even after you do your best, suppose you lose. Suppose what you desired did not happen and you have to lose your home. Suppose you have to go out of the country. Suppose you have to lose something precious to you. Well, that is God's will. Go through with it. As a matter of fact, if that happens, you will have to go through with it. Whether you like it or not, it will be forced on you. So once it's forced on you, you can negotiate it. You can think about it. So why bother about it from now onwards? Why think too much? So what I suggest is focus on your current action. I know it's easier said than done. It is.
What are the planetary movements?
Planetary movements show what situations you find yourself in. How likely it is that you will find yourself out of the mess. They don't say whether you will actually find yourself out of mess. What you do is your free will. What you do right now, what you do today, what you do tomorrow, that is in your hands. That is not going to be predicted by any astrologer.
Even getting a job also is in my hands then.
Whether you send a resume to a particular place or not, whether you, at the interview, exactly how you think and you do, every action is in your hands. But based on all the actions you did in previous lives, there are some restraints, there are some constraints. If it is unlikely that you will find a job, nobody may call you. If it is very difficult for you to find a job, even if you go and do well in the interview, something may happen and you may not get it. So things that are out of your hands are actually, really they were in your hands, but they were based on your action from maybe 100 years back or 2000 years back. So you are getting the result of it. So the thing is, whatever happens to you out of your control, what others are doing to you, and the situations you find yourself in is a result of what you did before. And what you do right now is completely in your hands. But remember one thing, what you do now will decide
The future births.
not necessarily future birth, maybe 10 days later or 10 years later or 10 lives later, what will happen to you, what kind of situations you find yourself in. So, do the right action. Suppose you can kill somebody to get a job, hypothetically. Suppose you use your free will to kill somebody to get a job, well, in another life you will suffer the consequences. So, do the right thing. Do the right thing now, but do without an attachment. That would be the advice spiritually. But materially, I will say, if you propitiate Aditya by doing Aditya for them, if you propitiate Mahalakshmi by doing Mahalakshmi Ashtotram, and if you propitiate Saturn by doing Hanuman Chalisa or any Hanuman mantra, if you do that, there is a good chance that whatever obstacles are there in front of you at this point of time in your life and then the next few years, those obstacles will become surmountable. The seemingly unsurmountable obstacles, they may become surmountable. And if you also, apart from these mantras, you also exert your free will and do the best you can with the interviews, etc., you may get a job in a few months. I will not be surprised if you do either Aditya Hridayam for 3 hours or a Homam for 1 hour every day for like, let's say 108 days. I will not be surprised if something works out. So good luck, all the best. And health-wise, by the way, health-wise, even though I will be more tempted to suggest Lakshmi Hridayam more than other things, career-wise, I was suggesting Aditya Hridayam because it unblocks the problems in the career and also it will increase your health. He is the Lagna Lord. For Lagna, for health, there is nothing like Aditya Hridayam. The more you chant Aditya Hridayam, the better your health will be. The problem is Saturn is in 12th house. And Saturn Dasa is running right now. 12th house shows long problems and problems that may even require hospitalization, medical attention. So that kind of problems are shown by, moreover he is the 6th Lord. And he is aspecting the, Saturn is aspecting the Lagna Lord Sun. So because of all these things, basically there is a Saturnine influence on Lagna and Lagna Lord. That shows Vata. So basically, and Sun is Pitta. So his problems are fire and dry. Vata and Pitta related. Fire and Pitta is fire, too much of heat in the body, and Vata is dryness, too much of dryness in the body. Basically, Vata related and Pitta related problems. So from that point of view, consume more of leafy vegetables, consume things like spinach. You know I don't know if you get in US, but I saw in Atlanta, I don't know if you get in Boston. I think in US you can get. You know no, wait, let me, I haven't said anything. You are guessing. That is really weird. If I give any clue, then you start guessing, it makes sense. I haven't given any clue. I said, you know what, and I am saying like this. I made a shape with my, you know, the banana, plantain tree, when it basically gives rise to the bananas, before that there are those flowers, the plantain flowers, right? Those flowers, they are very anti-pitta.
They are available here. You can get them sometimes. Plantain flowers.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah. Get plantain flowers, cook them well. Oh, maybe you do. Yeah.
We call it barafu.
Yeah. There are many dishes with it. Traditional South Indian dishes with that. You can make any dish with it. You can make a dal. You can mix with yogurt, coconut, and other things, and you can take anyway.
Take curry like curry means.
Yeah, you can make a curry with them with some spices, etc. So that basically, in general, if you eat less spicy food, it is good for you.
Spicy. I like spicy.
Yeah, see that is the problem. People for whom spicy food is terrible love spices. People for whom
acidity too. I have this problem.
Yeah, you will have. You have a Pitta Vata person, mainly Pitta. Reduce oil.
Okay.
Eat salads more. Less spicy. The best spices for you are coriander powder, cumin powder, fennel powder. Those are the best spices. Really, actually, if you put only, powdered, these three things, coriander, cumin and fennel, these three powdered in equal, mixed in equal proportions, just fry them without too much oil, fry them, make powder. If you use that powder instead of garam masala and other things, it will help you so much. In everything, in any curry you make, instead of putting lot of red chilli, green chilli, etc., if you put this powder, you will have some flavor, but it won't be that spicy. And if you want spice, put a little bit of ginger, put a little bit of green chilli, but stay away from red chilli. Green chilli is better than red chilli. Red chilli is terrible for you. Red chilli powder and pickles having red chilli powder. So if you control your diet, if you basically reduce the spice and take these things, and secondly, if you chop cilantro, put it in buttermilk and drink it at the end of your meals, it is like amrutam for you. Buttermilk.
In buttermilk. Okay.
Yeah, buttermilk is amrutam for you.
Okay.
So if you like the, and also vegetables, if you eat juicy vegetables like soft vegetables, easy to digest vegetables like beans, carrots, peas, squashes, different kinds of squashes. Those are all very good for you. On the other hand, heating vegetables like mangoes, etc. are terrible. So if you basically pay some attention to the food that you eat, because you are what you eat. The more spicy food you eat, the more heat in the body, it will dry up. And also there is some vata, some drying influence of Saturn along with the heating influence of Sun. So it will dry up various parts of the body, various glands will be dried up, they will be burning with heat, so there will not be enough fluids, and that will result in imbalance in the system. And as you grow old, you will be coping with it less. You must have had this problem throughout your life, but the thing is you will be coping less now. So pay some attention to the food. And in addition, if it is possible for you, if you take one amla every day in the morning, you know amla?
Yeah, amla, yeah.
You can, for example, if you go to Indian stores like Patel Brothers, you will get Amla Murabba. Amla Murabba, which is basically Amla soaked in sugar syrup.
Okay.
If you take Amla Murabba, just one Amla soaked in sugar syrup every day. If you have raw Amla also, you can eat raw Amla, that's fine. It doesn't have to be Murabba, Amla Murabba, but Amla, the gooseberry,
Yeah, gooseberry, yes.
that fruit is like Amrutam for you. If you eat it in the beginning of the day,
Okay.
the first thing in the day, you eat one Amla,
I eat
then do.
Karela in the morning. Because
Karela is very good. Karela is also very good. But the problem with Karela is, no, it is cooling. It is good for Pitta, but unfortunately Karela is extreme Vata. The dryness in the body, it will increase it like anything. So the thing is, it is good, but it is also, the Saturn it will aggravate. Sun it will cool down, but Saturn it will aggravate. It is extremely cooling and extremely drying. So
Don't eat gooseberry on Sunday.
they say don't eat gooseberry on Sunday. So yeah, there is a tradition. Yeah. It will control sun. You don't want to control sun on sun's day basically. There must be some logic. But to control your sun's heating influence, eat gooseberry, eat buttermilk, drink buttermilk, less spicy food. You try it for like 3-4 months, you will see the difference in your health. You will feel less acidity, you will feel...
some of the vegetables you said, like juicy vegetables, all the
Squashes are amrutam for you. Any squash, zucchini squash, summer squash. You know, in India you get the, Indian stores you get that sarkaya, what is it called in English? Bottle gourd. Bottle gourd. It's called bottle gourd or sarkai. Probably same name. It's probably a Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu combined name. Sarkai or bottle gourd, zucchini squash. I see. Any kind of squashes are good in general. Squashes are good. Green beans, peas, carrots. These are all juicy vegetables, watery vegetables. Mint is anti-pitta and increases vata a little bit. That is perfectly fine. Pudina, mint is good, methi is good. Methi or methi.
methi, yeah.
So, coriander greens or cilantro is very good. It is in excess it will increase vata, but in normal quantities it is very good for both pitta and vata. So buttermilk you must drink at the end of every meal. Yogurt is not that good, but buttermilk is very good. Just mix some water in the yogurt.
Yeah.
Take
I
it.
like buttermilk. I use
Very good, very good. So drink buttermilk with some salt. So if you take this kind of diet, if you pay attention to your diet, because now that you are 60, I mean actually even people of my age or people, even young people should eat right, because you eat wrong, you accumulate either pitta or vata or some dosha you accumulate. Over time your body is, it gets spoiled. So you should eat healthy, eat well, not healthy, but not only healthy but also well, the correct food. By the way, a little bit of what is it? Ghee is good for you.
Ghee?
Yeah.
Coffee is
Sesame oil is not good,
I like coffee. The coffee is not good.
but unfortunately you can't stop it in a day.
I just
Reduce it.
take one coffee.
Yeah, reduce coffee and tea. Reduce coffee and tea because they are extremely drying.
Coffee is bad.
Yeah, extremely drying.
It should be good, okay then?
Both are bad.
Oh, both are bad.
Yeah. So pay some attention to the diet that you take.
Okay.
Do a Aditya Hridayam, and if you can do a homam to sun,
No, I will start
it's Aditya Hridayam, but do with chanting. Yeah, keep with chanting and keep it up for a few months.
Okay.
And then stop thinking too much, because whatever is in your hand, a man can do what a man can do.
You're already doing what you can do.
Yeah. Maybe if you are not doing what you can do, once it becomes clear, if you don't know what to do, you can't do you can't do it. Once you know what to do, you are anyway doing it. So why worry about things that you don't know or can't do? Whatever comes to your mind, if I do this will be good, do it. And then don't think too much about it. Just do it. But if you feel like doing something but you can't do it, then don't think about it, because you can't do it. Whatever your mind tells you should do, and you are in a position to do it. That is a simple algorithm. See, what can be simpler? It's a very simple algorithm. People just complicate things. Simple algorithm. Whatever is in your hand, whatever you think is the right action, and whatever you are in a position to do it. Simple algorithm. And whatever is your mind doesn't tell you to do, best is don't do it. And whatever your mind tells you to do but you can't do, well, anyway you can't do. So simple algorithm. Just stick to that algorithm, and to keep your mind from wandering on all these things, just focus it on God.
30 years ago somebody said, because of Rahu you'll be worrying throughout your life. He said, whatever you do, you need a lot of money.
See, Rahu can try to make you worry, but if you try to do some mantra, what can Rahu do? Eventually, you will be. Eventually, planets cannot do much. They can only do so much. So, try to do Acharya.
On this chart for Dashansa, is it
Yeah.
better to suggest looking for Saturnine aspect of the job which could get him faster? Will that work better? From his mind, if Saturn is transiting into the 10th,
Yeah.
his mind thinking in that aspect of Saturnine in jobs like testing or whatever.
Saturn jobs are service jobs.
Service oriented things.
Yeah. That's a good point. Saturn is the 6th lord. Saturn is the 6th lord, and his Dasa is running right now based on Vimshati Dasa.
And his transiting is 10
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So looking for some service oriented jobs is fine.
Service oriented profession only all his life.
Okay. Yeah, that's because the second house is so strong. It has Saturn.
They also,
Yeah.
yeah.
But one thing I will say is, don't look for a business or contracting position at this point of time.
Oh, contracting position.
If at all there is a chance of getting a full-time job
Oh,
during this time,
I see.
rather than a contract or a
All contract jobs only.
yeah. Those are not really. Time is not conducive to those at this point of time. In Mundasa there is a chance of those things, but not in the current period. So I don't really have any other things apart from it.
But no major health problems, right?
I don't see any. Actually, what do you guys think? Right now, Sandasha is going on. Sun doesn't show. Even if he goes for some surgery, no mishap as a result of it. Basically, Sun is recovering the health. He is the planet who shows recovering the health rather than spoiling the health. Whereas Rahu,
Why would Sun even give surgery? He's in the 10th house. The Lagna Lord in 10th house. Why would he even think of surgery for?
he won't see. He is in an inimical house, and this person is recovering from a Rahu Dasa. Rahu Dasa was running earlier. Rahu was in the 8th house. So the thing is, he may not be in great health. And Sun, the Lagna Lord, is in an inimical sign. Sun is not really well placed. And moreover, there is a Parvatana between Mercury and Venus. So it is as though instead of Mercury, it is Venus there. So it is as though Sun is in Venus house with Venus. So he is not really that conducive. And if you look at the Shashtamsha, Sun is with Rahu Ketu. So the Lagna Lord of Rashi chart is afflicted by Rahu Ketu in the Shashtamsha. So there is some affliction. But the thing is, despite the affliction, being the Lagna Lord of Rashi, he won't basically spoil the health beyond some limits. He will do his best to keep him healthy. So things will be under some limits. And if it's crossing the limits, Sun will do something to pull it back. So during the Sandasya, even if there is a surgery, it will not result in any mishap. As a result of the surgery, things will be fine only. So I am not really that concerned about the health, but like I said, I expect strong Pitta Vata related problems. So strong Pitta problems. Too much of heat in the body. Too much of heat in the body, in the mind, everywhere.
A lot of acidity, I mean burning.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah. You can feel burning sensation in the brain, in the stomach, everywhere. Even mind. Moon is in Sagittarius. Yeah. See, Lagna is Leo. Moon is in Sagittarius. Both are fiery signs. So, and Lagna Lord Sun is with Mars. And Mars is aspecting Moon. So, various factors. If you study this chart a little carefully, you will see there is some Vata, but mostly this is a Pitta chart. So, too much fire, too much of Pitta, too much fire that basically burns down everything. Now, another thing is, if you are open to trying Ayurvedic herbs, there is something called Setavari. That is like Amrita for you. Setavari. Setavari is basically asparagus root. Asparagus root, powdered, dried and powdered.
Is it available?
It should be available. It may be available in your stores like Patel Brothers.
Yeah.
Banjanbotanicals.com basically sells it in bulk, like 1 kg, 1 pound, like that, half pound, like that. Banjanbotanicals.com. That is a good herb for you.
I see.
Actually, Brahmi, Bhrangaraj, Setavari, there are several herbs that are good for you. But if you just start with Setavari, just take some Setavari powder, like quarter spoon, half spoon, maximum 1 spoon. Take half spoon of it, mix it in milk and put sugar, just drink it. It doesn't have a taste, it's not bitter or anything. Maybe a little astringent, it's not really bad tasting. So, take the Shatavari milk, take a amla, then take Shatavari milk every day. If you do that for a few months, it will basically reduce your pitta like anything. And but the thing is, if you are doing that and also eating avgaya every day, it won't help you. If you control your diet and also take Shatavari, it will help you like anything. Shatavari is like amrutam for you. It's like nectar. Shatavari. Another thing is, asparagus is a very good vegetable for you. Yeah, Indians typically don't eat asparagus for some weird reason, because it's not that available in South India, but it is available here, so you can avail it. So asparagus is very good. Asparagus, it's a vegetable. Asparagus, they call it asparagus. I don't know what is called in Telugu, because we don't have it in Andhra. It's called Shatavari in Sanskrit. Yeah, it's like green sticks, cylindrical things. At the end there is flowery thing which is also green. It is very sticky, it is very watery. When you cook it, basically you get bundles. What you can do is just cut them. At the bottom, basically it may be too what do you say? No, yeah, too hard, too fibery. So maybe cut off the bottom quarter inch or whatever, how much ever, based on how young it looks, and then just chop it off. You can steam it and you can eat it. You can, if you are cooking rice, you can actually you can put it in the rice. It will be steamed along with the rice, and you can eat it. That is one way. Another is you can stir fry it and eat it. Yeah, you can make a curry, but don't put too much red chilli powder. See, one way you can do it is, you can stir fry it, put some tamarind sauce, put some sugar, put some little bit of red chilli powder if you must have the taste. So it will be sweet, sour. There are so many ways you can cook it. So if you eat asparagus, that is good for you. So these are the things I will recommend. So use some herbs, use some mantra, and I hope job, basically when the right time comes, you will anyway get it. Either job or some opportunity, some direction in life. That will happen. But the thing is, more importantly, you should take care of your health, because that is more important. That is irreversible. If you lose a house, well, you can buy another house, or you can go some other country, live there. Yeah, there is always, people think there is only one option. If this is not there, my life is messed up. No, there are thousands of options. Only when you are forced, you will realize, okay, this is also an option. And in the beginning, it will not look like an option, but once it is forced on you, you will realize that it is fine. So like that, there are so many things. Everything is reversible. Everything, basically, nothing is final. But this body, once you are in a body, the health of the body is final. If body suffers, that is it, basically. So body is more important. So take care of your health. Do all these things that I suggest apart from the mantras. Take some herbs and control your diet. That is very, very important at this time of your life. Moreover, Sandasha is running right now. Another thing is, Sandasha people, even when they are depressed, it is like they are angry in depression. It is almost as if, why like this? That kind of depression. Whereas a Vata person, if he is depressed, he is like, oh my God, why did it happen to me like that? A Pitta person, why did it happen to me? No, what should I do now? They are frustrated more than sad. Even in sadness, they are frustrated. That is the nature of Pitta people. More fiery. Yeah, Rajasic.
The other thing is, it comes like a materialistic person, right? But I want to be very completely spiritual, but I'm not able to do that because of my problem. Like,
I will not answer that. Yeah, I will leave that point.
I have been thinking myself.
Yeah.
I want to devote completely to.
Yeah. Bottom line is, what that means is, there are some really blocking karmas. Until they are fixed, you will not be able to go to the next level. There is potential, but the thing is, some really blocking karmas have to be blocked.
I'm self-centered. I also want to help other people also. That is my goal.
But
but I don't think we can do it.
You can still make a choice of leaving things and going and doing stuff whatever you want to do.
Yeah, but
I'm interested in politics too a lot.
this is just, what is the house that stands out in this chart? 10th house, Sun. And 10th house, Sun and Mars. Where do they get Digbala? Tell me. 10th house. So Sun and Mars are the Lagna Lord and 9th Lord. The 9th Lord shows Dharma. This is what I am born to do. This is my mission. That is 9th house. And Lagna, this is who I am. So those two planets are with such strong Digbala in the 10th house of Karma. Do you think this is a person who will renounce? No. This is a person who will basically, he is a karma yogi basically. He has to be in karma.
My question was, even though you want to renounce, let's not say it renounce. Just say you want to do something what you want to do. There are certain added responsibilities that you have to fulfill. No matter what. And suppose you are a son. You have some responsibilities towards your
Right.
You have a wife, then you have some responsibilities towards her. Going forward, I know it's my basic ignorance in this question.
Okay.
But a lot of the times you are forced in doing certain things the way people expect you to do. The people who are very near it. How do you react to that? How do you, even though you want to come out of it, there is no direct coming out of it. I cannot go ahead and tell my father that this is not what I wanted to do, or there is something that
if you are not able to do it, which means probably there is a runa which is still pulling you. Bottom line is you are a slave of your runas. You are a slave of the conditioning of the mind, and conditioning of the mind is driven by the runas. No point fighting it. But the thing is,
when will I come out of it? If I'm not fighting it,
see, when the runa is fulfilled, when you have a runa with some entity, some person or some organization or some nation, when your runa is fulfilled, the force that pulls you towards it will be less powerful. It will be easier for you to cut off them. The thing is, if you are unable to cut off something, there is a good chance that the runa is very strong. Secondly, even when there is no strong runa, people hang on to things because they have expectations from somebody. Sometimes one person may think, I am doing this because that person expects me to do. But the thing is, it may be driven by your own ego at the end. Basically, you may think, I am not saying you, somebody may think, if I don't do like this in this particular situation, people will think I am bad. I am doing droha to my father, or I am doing droha to my mother, or brother, or my guru. They may think, oh, people will think badly about me, so let me do this. So that is coming because of their ego. They want people to think well of them. I want to be the good person. So the thing is, at some level or the other, there is some ego, which is, so you need them. It's not that they need you. They may also need you, but you need them. So that
not fulfilling the responsibility wouldn't it affect the coming?
The mind is created.
See, bottom line is this: everybody has unique responsibilities. Society has certain ideas of this is your responsibility, but those are instituted for smooth running of the society. But your responsibility is based on who you are. What were you in the last life? What are your runas? To him. What are your abilities based on all the things that you learnt in the previous life? What are your bindings based on all the things that you learnt in the last life? So based on it, there is a conditioning of your mind. Your mind is pulled towards certain things, it's pulled away from certain things, and it is placed in the company of certain people, certain entities. So there is a deep conditioning of your mind, right? So based on that conditioning, there are certain things that you have to do. Without doing them, you will not get moksha. But what is it? It is very difficult to know. Sri Krishna says, Swadharma, he says, in Swadharma, nidhanasreya, pardharmo bhayava, he says. Doing somebody else's dharma is dangerous. You have to do your dharma. While doing your dharma, even if you die, it is valid. People interpret it to mean that Swadharma means your caste dharma. They basically make Brahmana should do Brahmana thing, Kshatriya. That is nonsense. Because Vishwamitra was a Kshatriya, but he did Brahmana dharma. So what Krishna means by Swadharma, he didn't say Kula dharma, he said Swadharma. Swa means self. So he is saying self dharma, the duty of self. What is your duty? What is his duty? Each is different. If there are billion people in the world, there are billion Swadharmas. So Swadharma is a unique concept. And how do you know it? The problem with it is you don't know it. And it is designed in such a way that you don't know it, because if you know it, you do exactly what you need to do and you go away. You get moksha. So the nature is designed in such a way that it is difficult to find Swadharma. So what you do is, you feel like you need to do. Based on your conditioning, you feel like you need to do, you do it. But the thing is, while doing it, you bring new attachments. You have expectations. You expect people to do something back to you. So again, you are getting stuck more and more. Basically, you are entangled by threats to various people. While trying to unentangle, you are creating new entanglements. This is how the world is. And how do you get out of it? Well, do sadhana. And whatever you are doing, do whatever you feel like doing, whatever you think is your right dharma. It may be wrong, but still do it. If your brain tells you do it, do it. But don't think too much. At the end, say Krishnarpanam. Don't even think about it. Once you say Krishnarpanam, you are not thinking, why did I do like that? Why did that happen? Don't think. Learn to, once you do the action, giving up the result to the God, learn that art. Once you master that art, once you basically, then what will happen is, there will be some purity in your consciousness. As you become a little purer, your Swadharma will become a little clearer to you. Basically, what your instincts are telling you now may or may not be Swadharma. But if you are really pure, whatever your instincts are guiding you to do, that will be your Swadharma. So the only way to know Swadharma is to do sadhana. Do sadhana, do more sadhana, do even more sadhana.
Meditation?
Anything that basically, see, sadhana, what is sadhana? What is sadhana? It is that which enables you to realize self, to let ego drop a little bit. When somebody says something bad to you, you feel hurt. When somebody praises you, you feel good. As long as that is happening, when something that good happens to you, you feel proud. When something bad happens to you, you feel sad. As long as that is happening to you, you are not pure. You are pure, perfectly pure, when no matter what is happening, you are in the same state. You are happy always. When somebody slaps you, you may slap back, but still you are not feeling anger, you are not feeling attraction, you are not feeling repulsion. If you reach that state, then you are pure. The goal of sadhana, whether it's japam or homam, or just reading scriptures and thinking, what is God, what is life, that is also sadhana. There are different kinds of sadhana. Whatever sadhana you do, the goal of sadhana is to get the state. So if you are making some progress compared to 10 years back, suppose when somebody praises you, you don't feel as proud. When somebody criticizes you, you don't feel as angry. Then you are making some progress. That is the measure of the sadhana that you do. And how do you make more progress? There is no other way. Just do sadhana. Whether it's working or not, just do whatever sadhana you are doing. It will work at your pace. Huh?
It's basically overcoming the Shadvipus over a period of time.
Overcoming the Shadvipus over a period of time, it will take, depending on the blockages that you have, the speed will depend on the person. One person may make progress. If he spends, for example, if he spends 3 hours, one person spends 3 hours every day meditating with a particular mantra, after 1 year, he may become perfectly pure. He may become realized. Another person, he may have to spend 10 lives like that to realize. But bottom line is, everybody will make progress. The amount of the progress may change. But if you spend an amount of time like 3 hours, because it's a good fraction of your time. See, your mind is active 15 hours of the day, or 16 hours of the day, your mind is actively thinking of something. Very actively thinking of various things. Out of the time, if 3 hours is basically spending only maybe 80% of his energy thinking about things, and 20% in some mantra, thinking of God, that will definitely help you to make some progress.
Is there any point in sadhana when you feel like you've come to the same place once again?
No, there is still a point. You may feel like you have come to the same place, but you may be in a better position than before. See, even great saints, when they do sadhana, when they did sadhana in the early stages, they would actually, after a while, they would feel like, oh, I'm still bitten by the same enemy. But the thing is, maybe the frequency at which kama, krodha, lobha, etc. will bite you, maybe is coming less. Maybe their control over you is slackening a little bit, but you don't realize it because they are still bothering you. In other words, you are in a room with an enemy. Somebody kidnapped you and he is sitting in front of you and he is holding gun at you. Okay? But 10 days later, he may be holding gun at you, but he may be thinking, why am I doing it? Maybe I should let him go. But from your point of view, it may still seem like he is holding gun at you. But he may be close to actually letting you go. You may not know it. So the thing is, when you do sadhana, how much progress you have made, there isn't any meter. But the thing is, once you make some progress, there will be some internal transformation. The goal of sadhana is internal transformation. How many hours you spent, exactly what mantra you did, how powerful the mantra is, those are all not measures of how much of a sadhaka you are.
Also, if you are looking at it after 10 days after some sadhana, then you are looking at it possibly at a different angle than what you are looking at it 10 days before.
It is possible, yes. Exactly, that's a good point. The standard at which you are judging yourself may be different. It may be evolving with time. But the thing is, I can guarantee you one thing. Any sadhana, no effort is wasted. If you spend 3 hours every day or 2 hours every day doing one mantra, thinking of one God and thinking, I want to overcome my weaknesses. Still, at the end of it, you will have your weaknesses. When you see somebody, you feel like slapping. When you see something, you feel like, oh, I love this, I need to have it. You will still have those kama, krodha, lobha, etc. But you will definitely make progress. No effort is wasted. Whether you see the result for yourself or not, no effort is wasted. So, take my word for it, put in your effort. Nothing is wasted. Everything is for a purpose. So, and that is the only thing in your hand. This free will, the purpose of free will is to do sadhana. So, do all the things that I told you. Hopefully, I hope that in another 6 months, you will hear some good news from you and you will be in a good frame of mind. So, all the best session. So, with that, I will end the class today. Om Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Sarve Dharmika Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Yavad Bhumandale Sanatana Dharmo Vardhatu Visheshata Bhartakhande. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.